Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here at 7 on your Wednesday. Today is November 13th. I'm Caitlin Francis.
And I'm Caitlin Nuclo. You're watching Eyewitness News here on the Wax. A lot to talk about. But first, let's get the details on that first alert weather day. Meteorologist Jill Gilardi in with what we need to know as we head out the door. Jill.
Yeah, once again, we're going to have enough of a breeze to create those conditions that if there was a fire that were to develop, it could get out of control.
Yeah.
So
we know the first alert weather day once again.
First alert weather day for these kind of conditions. But as long as you're, we'll say good, you know, and do your best to not, you know, I mean, there's equipment sometimes that can create a spark. We understand that. And then there's having water nearby just in case that spark were to develop. There's properly disposing, you know, cigarettes, things like that. And then, of course, there's no outdoor burning. So as long as we follow all those proper steps and don't avoid that as much as possible, you know, hopefully things will be all right out there. But it is going to be a, you know, breezier afternoon, not the wind we had yesterday by any means, but still conditions right for fire weather danger to be on the high end side, and why there's that red flag warning again. There's enough of a wind this morning that it is creating a colder feel, about 5 to 10 miles per hour, while it's 27 in Salisbury, 29 Waterbury, and Meriden 35 degrees. That breeze will shave off some of that feel, so your skin is going to say, yeah, I need a jacket, maybe a little thicker one, especially as we head into the afternoon when that breeze kicks back upwards again. Not a very warm day, as Scott was saying earlier this morning, and we're going to have high temperatures falling short of normal with at least sunshine that's going to be on the bright end side. Now, if you're hoping for rain, we're going to have to keep on hoping. But if you're hoping for a warm up, we have some of that in the forecast. More on that coming up a little bit later. Caitlin?
All right, thanks, Jill. I know we were just talking about it's the first morning I broke out the winter coat, so you might need that, especially if the kids are heading to the bus stop this morning. It's a cold start, but we are following a first alert here for you if you're heading out the door to head to work or bring the kids to school here this morning. This is in Stamford. Route 137 closed in both directions at Cold Spring Road, as is Route 104. Both directions closed at Cold Spring Road. Wires down in the area. Now, we had an earlier crash in Harwinton. This is along Route 118, so the area is still blocked off between Birch Hill Road and Route 8. No serious injuries reported. However, a utility pole was compromised, so they're working on some repairs there. Live look outside now in Hartford, Waterbury, and in Meriden. That Middletown camera, unfortunately, still frozen here at 7:03, but majority of the state is moving along out there this morning. We're going to start to see some of those typical delays build, especially down through Fairfield County. And it looks like Waterbury to Hartford, almost an hour ride there. So we've got some typical delays that are starting to build early there through the capital city region. Let's quick check at your Connecticut Chevy First Alert traffic report driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers. All right, let's get you to some breaking news here this morning. Just less than 10 miles from the Connecticut border. This is taking place in Southbridge, Massachusetts. We're taking a look at some video just into the newsroom. Right now, we know firefighters from here in our state, including from Woodstock, which is just about a 15-minute ride to Southbridge, on the scene of this huge fire raging at a 3-story apartment complex on Union Street there. Crews tell us this is a 7-alarm fire. Now, we know firefighters, again, from Woodstock are part of this response, and we're working to learn more about this story. However, so far we've been told no injuries reported.
Well, happening this morning, a transformer explosion and a brush fire are to blame for some Amtrak services in our state being suspended this morning.
The interruption will create some headaches for a lot of Connecticut riders, and Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Marcy Jones has the estimated timeline for when that service will hopefully resume.
Thankfully, railroad operators expect the service between New Haven and New York to resume at 2 today, but with a total estimated outage of over 24 hours, lots of commuters will feel this impact. Now, officials say this all started yesterday afternoon around 2:15 when fire officials were called to a building on fire on Bronxdale Avenue in Parkchester, New York. Less than a mile down the road, another fire broke out at an Amtrak transformer explosion, spreading flames to brush and a nearby Con Ed facility. Amtrak had to shut down power at the substation, and as a result, all services between New York Penn Station and New Haven has been suspended. Here's what commuters need to know. Metro North Railroad will honor Amtrak tickets. Travelers who want to use Metro North must board the train at Grand Central. Amtrak is not offering transportation between Penn Station and Grand Central, and limited Amtrak services between Boston South Station and New Haven will be available. Back out here live again, railroad operators are expecting the services between New York and New Haven to resume at 2 this afternoon. In New Haven, Marcy Jones, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Well, this morning, some parents in Cheshire calling for a teacher to be fired after a politically charged video on Snapchat was leaked and then went viral.
We know that the educator has already been temporarily removed from their position. In the video, a woman who is believed to be the teacher in question calls for violence against supporters of Donald Trump.
Now, some parents are saying the district didn't do enough and needs to take a harder stance.
I would not hand any relative off to her. It's important for all of us to stand up for what is right. And what happened was wrong, and the way our town handled it was even worse.
Well, the superintendent says the district is still investigating and has not confirmed the identity of the teacher or what school they work at.
The brother of a man who died after being hit by a car in Bristol Sunday night now calling for safety upgrades to the spot where this all happened.
Speaking exclusively to Channel 3, Edward Fassandini says his 62-year-old brother, Anthony, lived with him and was recovering from 2 strokes.
He says Anthony was hit while crossing Route 72 at Lincoln Avenue. It's a spot notorious for pedestrian-involved crashes. Edward says better lighting and more time for pedestrians to cross the street could help save lives.
And to get across 5 lanes and a median, you can't make it. By the time that timer runs out, you're gonna have to run. You can't get through there just normal.
Well, it's still not clear if any changes will be made to that intersection. We are asking about it, and we'll let you know when we hear back from city officials.
School leaders in Portland now have to figure out how to pay for renovations to 2 schools and put a new plan up for another vote.
Last night, the Board of Education met for the first time since the town voted down that consolidation plan last week. It would have closed 2 elementary schools and created 1 big one with triple the amount of students.
The original plan would have cost about $68 million, with the town fronting $33 million of that. Let's move you to a big update now out of Torrington this morning. Incumbent State Representative Michelle Cook says she lost a recount to Republican Joe Canino by at least 51 votes.
Yeah, wow, just 51 votes.
Yeah.
The recount came after issues on Election Day, which included broken tabulators and a shortage of envelopes for early voting.
Only same-day registration votes, early votes, and those absentee ballots were recounted.
We're working to learn more here this morning about a house fire that broke out overnight in Lyme. Valley Shore Dispatch confirmed that units were on the scene here at Josie Perkins Lane. We do have calls out. When we get more information, we'll bring that new information to you here on the air and on the WFSB app.
Well, this morning, Michelle Chaconis will be back in a courtroom.
Yeah, she's accused of showing a private Dulos family custody evaluation and also a psych report during her trial in connection to the murder of Jennifer Farber Dulos.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Olivia Schuler joins us now live in the studio. So, Olivia, what can we expect to happen in court today?
Yeah, guys. Well, a judge opted to address the contempt charge today after Chaconis' brief court appearance in September. Back in July, Chaconis' attorney entered a not guilty plea and asked for a jury trial. Now, at the time, the prosecutor told the judge both sides would try to settle this before then, and a judge will now address the contempt charge today. That misdemeanor charge carries a maximum of 6 months in jail. It's based on Chaconis allegedly having access to and displaying in court a sealed Dulos family custody evaluation and psych report. During her original lengthy trial, a friend of Jennifer Farber Dulos claimed Chaconis had the document on her laptop screen, which was visible in court. A judge sealed that report in 2019, just weeks before Jennifer Farber Dulos disappeared. Chaconis is already serving 14.5 years behind bars after being convicted earlier this year of conspiring to kill Jennifer Farber Dulos. Once again, Chaconis pled not guilty to her contempt charge back in July. She'll appear in a Stanford courtroom today to address the contempt charge. In studio, Olivia Schuler, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
We have some new information here this morning related to the discovery of a baby in a motel bathtub in Milford.
Yeah, you might remember when we told you about this first back in August. Police say Dale Kirkland, you see him here on your screen, now being charged with murder. Back in August, a member of the cleaning staff at the Mayflower Motel found that baby.
And the baby later died at the hospital. Investigators still haven't revealed her cause of death. Kirkland is being held on $1 million bond and is due in court in January.
Well, happening today in Hartford, tenants will rally to demand an extension of temporary housing as they await repairs after a fire 3 months ago damaged their apartments.
Right now, they're living in temporary housing, awaiting repairs, but access to that city funding housing ends on December 10th, so time is ticking here. The tenant union will rally in front of City Hall at 4:30 today.
Well, here on your Wednesday morning, we continue to shine a spotlight on our local veterans this week. This is Anthony LaPenta, whose son of the same name shared this picture of his father in his Marine Corps uniform. We've got a big thank you to Anthony for his service and a big thank you to everyone who has served from all of us here at Channel 3.
Well, good morning, everyone. 7:11, and we have once again a red flag warning in effect, so we're avoiding outdoor burning. We'll have conditions today, right, for if a brush fire were to develop, it could quickly spread. Now, while the winds won't be as crazy as they were yesterday, enough of a wind that could cause problems. Gusts at 20 miles per hour, slightly higher than that. So our dry weather stretch continues, and with that comes bright conditions today. Not a cloud in the sky, and it's a little chilly out there this morning. Make sure you bundle up before heading outdoors. While it's 33 degrees, for example, in the Hartford area, even a light wind is creating a cooler feel. So you need to dress for not necessarily these numbers, which we're seeing a lot of places in the 20s, but these numbers, which are some lower 20s. So yeah, it is feeling quite chilly out there. So the kiddos out at the bus stop need to bundle up, and they'll need the jacket for recess and the way home, because it's going to be a cooler than average day with a breeze that will make it feel even chillier. Highs in the 40s. We are talking about a warm up, though. Could it be just in time for the weekend? More on that coming up a little bit later. Kate?
All right, Jill, thank you.